I know I'm going to get hated for making this video, but like, I gotta make it. I gotta make it at this point. Hello, my name is Slime, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Legend of Korra versus Avatar: Last Airbender, and how Legend of Korra might be a little better than Avatar: Last Airbender. I don't have a script on this, so I'm just gonna be saying this by memory. So yeah, this is gonna be so fun. For those who have been living under a rock, Avatar: Last Airbender is about a kid who gets trapped in ice for 100 years. Yeah, I think it's 100 years. During a war where the Fire Nation is taking over all of, is trying to rule the world. And there are 4 elements that people are able to manipulate in a way. There's water, air, earth, and fire. So obviously the Fire Nation is fire, then you got the Water Tribe and the Earth Kingdoms, and then the Air Nomads. And there's one person, the Avatar, who can manipulate all 4 elements and control them. During this 100-year war, the Air Nomads were completely wiped out except for one, the Avatar. So these two siblings, find the ice. This is basically is explained in the first episode. Find this ice and the Avatar's in it, right? So, it's like this big quest on to defeat the war, and the Avatar's goal is to defeat the war. Legend of Korra is the sequel to Avatar: Last Airbender, and it's about the Avatar trying to find her purpose and trying to be the Avatar in a modern day world. This world is very similar to, imagine like the Industrial Revolution America, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, that. At one point am I going to make first that how Legend of Korra is underrated compared to Avatar: Last Airbender are the villains. My best friend talk about this a lot, but Legend of Korra does have better villains, and I feel like fans of the Avatar: Last Airbender, aka Alta, I'm gonna use that, disregard that. Let's be honest, there was only one main villain and a crazy psychopath sister in Avatar: Last Airbender. It didn't really give us much, and in the end, Aang, the Avatar, and Alta didn't really do anything. He just took away the guy's firebending. Compared to Legend of Korra, there is a villain every single season. These villains are also harder to defeat. They're a lot more advanced with their bending. Heck, Korra went against one guy who could take away someone's bending. She went against someone who was the evil Avatar. Sorry, I'm losing my words. Evil Avatar, even though you can only warbend, but she went against that. And people are saying that Fire Lord Ozai isn't hard to do. 99% of the time, the villains that Korra had to deal with or had to defeat by the end of the season were older than her and way more advanced in their bending. Another point that I feel like Alta fans overlook is the fact that in season 3, spoilers by the way, I forgot to put that, spoilers, in season 3, Korra was literally poisoned and survived and was still able to fight. And Alta, guaranteed I have not watched the show in ages, but Aang was never poisoned. Aang really went through grieving, which also Korra had to deal with, just not as harsh. To be honest, the main character of Alta didn't even carry on the show. The main characters that are appealing to Alta fans are the funny ones and really most of the main side characters. To be honest, the only thing Aang and Katara are good for are cute shipping moments and Katara showing you on growth is possible if you give it time. but on the other hand had an amazing character development and also gave us some of the best lines and scenes. And this is what I mean by main side characters. Sokka was such a big part, and he grew as a person. He started this season or the series out being a sexist little boy and grew to not being that, and as well as just having some of the best lines and being the best, one of the best comedy reliefs. You have Suki, the girl who literally changed Sokka's point of view on women, even though his own sister could not do that. Suki is such a strong character, and she's taken for granted a lot. Then we have Zuko, who literally had one of the best character redemption arcs in history. Like, this guy, who was clearly the villain, became good friends with the Avatar. And again, could also be that nonchalant comedy relief that we all need. And I know a lot of people will agree with me on this. Toph Beifong practically carried the show. Once she came in, all the other kind of made her the main character. She's sassy, she's strong, she has her downfalls. She invented metal bending. Like, she carried the show practically. Now, I do believe that these 4 characters practically carried us through Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm not saying that Legend of Korra is underrated. It's very, I'm not saying that Legend of Korra is underrated. It is very, very appreciated in the way that She-Ra, The Owl House, Amphibia, like those other gay shows, or those other gayer shows, are appreciated as. Legend of Korra is underrated. I'm saying that it's underrated comparing it to the show that it's the literal sequel of. I did not finish Legend of Korra yet, mainly because my best friend wants to. Anyway, I've not finished Legend of Korra yet, but before I even watched it, I was told, oh, it's not as good, but really, you gotta get through the first couple of episodes, and then it gets so much better. It's awesome. One of my favorite comparisons to make is that Aang did not know how to control all 4 elements, so he got a lesser villain. Korra learned on how to at least control, maybe not master, all 4 elements, but she learned how to do that earlier in the series, but got harder villains. I needed to learn how to master or control these elements so that she could faster. I needed to learn how to control these elements quicker so that she could defeat these villains, these more harder villains to defeat. While Aang didn't have to master all 4 elements on the other hand, didn't have as strong as a villain, so he could take his precious time doing that, learning on how to control each single element. I really hate it when my best friend sends me videos of people claiming that Alta has harder villains than Legend of Korra, because the only villain that Aang had to defeat was literally the Fire Lord. And let's be honest, if the Fire Lord was going against Toph, we wouldn't really even have a series. Korra got her literal bending taken away in the first season, and people don't call that hard. Like I said earlier, Korra was poisoned and still was able to defeat her poisoners. And Korra also gives us more on how the Avatar came to be. There's a whole episode, or a whole few episodes, where it explains how the first Avatar came to be. Avatar: The Last Airbender left us with so many questions, and Legend of Korra answered them in a neatly manner, if that makes sense. The first Avatar came to be. Okay, this is how the Avatar came to be. What about the spirit world? Okay, this is more on the spirit world. As Avatar: Last Airbender gave us a world, or was introducing us to a world, where you can manipulate fire, water, earth, and air, while Legend of Korra focuses on more answering the questions and focuses on more the Avatar themselves. People who watch Avatar: Last Airbender and Legend of Korra and say Avatar: Last Airbender is better, you didn't watch the show in the way that you were watching a new show. You were more like looking at it to compare it to Avatar: Last Airbender, and it's not. Legend of Korra could definitely stand on its own as its own show, and it basically does, in the sense on how underrated it is compared to the show that it is, this again, the sequel of. This video is really to just defend Legend of Korra, comparing it to Avatar: Last Airbender, on just how good the show is. To me, I mean, I did watch Avatar: Last Airbender when I was fairly young, but I felt more emotion towards Legend of Korra than I did while I was watching Avatar: Last Airbender. Korra didn't leave when the world needed her most, okay? I'm gonna be that person. Aang left when the world needed him most. Korra, on the other hand, was there every single time the world needed her most. At least in the first 3 seasons. I haven't finished season 4, so. I really don't know how to end this video, or if this is a good place to end this video, but yeah, let me know if y'all want more videos like these, because it was actually really fun to film and make. So yeah, let me know. Maybe next time I'll do some more research and plan it out. Y'all will see me with my little notebook. Anyway, goodbye, have a nice day, and I will see y'all in my next video. Goodbye.